Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Welcome back to another episode. We're going to redesign some Ghostbusters villains. We're on episode two of the Sam Hain redesign. This is from the episode When Halloween Was Forever, which is a really awesome episode. If you want to see where we started with this, check out the previous live stream, all uploaded to YouTube. Go check that out if you want to catch up on this one. But right now, we're already in the final line art stage for the design. So I'm excited to jump back into this. You can see here we've got our underdrawing lowered back in opacity, got a nice little purpley color to that. And we're starting to do some lines on top here. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of progress on the stream tonight. So, yeah, join me for another fun session. Hope you're doing something creative on your end. And remember to save often. All right, let's jump into it. Now, I also want to make sure, let's see, it looks like my mic is pretty good in volume, so that's always good to see. Um, and yeah, I think we are ready. I've got my little reference up there on the left from the actual episode. Yeah. Now, when I open this up, as what typically happens when these things get opened up after a while is that I see a few things that I want to tweak or adjust a little bit. I was thinking, what might be kind of fun is we did a full sleeve on this side, but what if we maybe had a little bit of asymmetry here? And maybe the sleeve was sort of torn and we had an opportunity to see maybe a little more of his body anatomy. I like that idea of playing with him feeling sort of like made of gnarled roots. And I think right now we get a hint of that from some of the stuff here with the robe, but I think if we saw it maybe in one more place here, it might be nice. And I sort of think that asymmetry could be fun. So I think we might play around with that here. I was thinking that this stem here at the top feels a little small. I think we could probably be a little more bold about that. So probably size that up. And then the other thing that I thought might be kind of cool. This actually I thought of sort of right after the stream ended, and I was like, man, that would have been cool to add that. Is having maybe the ends of these creepy roots growing out end with like hands, some kind of hands like trying to kind of crawl or clutch at the ground. Just seems kind of creepy and weird, and I thought that might be kind of cool. So I might play with that as well. So those were just a couple things that I was thinking about. Oh, also one last thing was I liked the idea of we were talking about this being sort of like a ghost blade. What I might do here is a sort of a hybrid where it's still made of physical pieces, but maybe they're uh, segmented and then they're being sort of held together with the ghost energy. I think that might be better for the overall composition because what I don't want to have happen is that we have uh, all of this heavy glow right here on this weapon and that your eye just can't look anywhere else other than the weapon. I really want you to be looking here. And there will be some glow here. Of course, he's got a jack-o'-lantern head, so I want to make sure it feels like it's glowing from the inside. But I don't want that to feel like it's fighting with the amount of glow coming off the weapon. So I think if we do that hybrid approach, I think we'll be able to better balance where you're looking in the image. Yeah, I think that's all the thoughts that I had after the stream. So yeah, I think we can kind of dive in again at this point. And it's funny because I always say that we're just going to dive in, and then I always have a preamble, but that's how it goes with art, right? Now the good thing is that we did handle a lot of that foliage around the head last time, which was quite a lot of line work going on. Let's scale this up. How big can we get away with this being? I think that's already quite a bit better than it was. It was very timid before. There's no reason to be timid about this. Something else I always preach is go too far so you know when it's too much. So if we just do a line here and we see, if it was really big like this, how does that look compared to its current version? Well, it does feel like it could be a little bit bigger, doesn't it? All right. I don't know if it can be quite as big as I made it. At some point, it maybe starts to feel like a tiny hat on his head, and I don't want it to feel like a tiny hat. I also don't want to crowd our pumpkin back here too much. It's funny because his expression makes it feel like maybe he's getting pushed aside and he's a little grumpy about that. So sorry about that, Mr. Pumpkin. David S. Pumpkins? No. Yeah. The line art got a little chunky there because we scaled it up. Ah, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna paint this. So if I was doing line art, then I would probably go back and change that. Right, torn sleeve. I'm already forgetting my ideas. Okay, so let's see. Where is it torn at? And what's a good shape for this torn sleeve? When you're making what feels like arbitrary shapes, like the edges here, the torn edges, we're still thinking about design, right? Like we're still thinking about big, medium, and small. If you go check out that book, Elemental Magic, it's a great book on, thinking about the rules of design when it comes to things that are seemingly abstract and random. And it's not to make you get real uh, uptight about it. It's more, it should hopefully help you to feel like, well, I don't know. When I feel like there's some guidelines, when there's some objectivity to design choice, it actually makes me feel less stressed out versus being in this giant, vast unknown. Okay, so we're getting into, actually, what's the back of the sleeve? I guess I should figure out what the back of the sleeve looks like. Yeah. No, it's a little too complicated. Let's go simpler with that. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of dangly bit here. That's a technical term. Maybe this. Okay. Right. So then he's got like a gnarly like. Well, so we didn't do an underdrawing for this root arm, so we're just gonna kind of have to freestyle this here. But I kind of feel like Swamp Thing. It's kind of like in the back of my head of like that sort of like super like veiny root like arm thing going on. It always feels like it's like way too many veins on that dude's arm, but it looks cool. So I feel like kind of in that territory with this. I want to try to capture a little bit of that vibe if we can. And there's a part of me also that thinks, maybe there's like some kind of pitting and decay as well. Like, I guess it'll kind of feel a little zombie like. Yeah, there's some nuance here that can get better captured when we do the painting, of course. But I think we can give ourselves a really good base here, even with the line art. Okay. It's nice when you can break the silhouette with the veins. It really kind of highlights just how prominent they are, right? When they're actually affecting the silhouette. Whereas if you just have these little surface things gliding along the top, it's going to feel a lot more subtle. Okay. Now we've got this. Actually, let me just make sure I'm cool with everything going on over here. I guess I am. Put a little wrinkle in there, perhaps. And then he has on his like neat little vest, his snazzy little vest, his little Halloween vest. I don't know that I like that curve of that. Is it supposed to go? Let's see. I think it might just supposed to go that way. I don't think we want to cut in, maybe, or maybe we do a little zigzag. What did I intend here? What is this scribbliness? Sometimes my scribbles are less helpful. What was I thinking? Oh, I guess it's just. I guess it's just some like belt stuff. Belt stuff. You know, stuff that goes on your belt when you're a spooky Halloween guy. All right. And time. Let's see if we can get this sort of worked out here. And what I might do is I might kind of like do more of like a basic human hand first, and then I might kind of gnarl it up. And, we can maybe lop it off and do another version of this here if we feel like we want to get. I guess maybe we wouldn't see a whole lot of that. Try to get some of that nice curling, where we get kind of the fingers kind of coming in, gives a little sense of that grip tension going on. How do I feel about the hand size? Yeah, I guess that hand size looks good. Our underdrawing was a good guide there. And then here we're going to see I guess maybe would we see a little bit of that? I'm going to play around with if I'm going to see. I guess this in some ways this grip feels like it accommodates maybe a little bit of a thinner stick, right? Like it feels like it's a little tightly grasped there, which I'm not opposed to that. Maybe we let's see. I'm gonna play around with this here. Give a little bit of a more open second. And pull that completely in here, and then we can kind of go here with it. And then I might want to just give a little bit more of a impactful silhouette here to this finger, and I said I was going to kind of gnarl it up. So maybe we try to gnarl this up a little bit. Again, in the painting, we can definitely go a little crazier with this. I just want to get it. Want to give myself a good basic guide to work with there. Let's flip this just to make sure we're not like totally doing something weird. All right, I think that looks fine. I might just size the hand up a little bit overall. Feeling like just wanted a little bit more size from that. Yeah. All right. I don't mind that. Let's keep going with this spooky scythe. Got this sort of like square piece. A little bit of an organic shape here to this handle. You know, it's like been around a couple million years, so it's looking a little used. All right, and now we got this piece, which again can have some a little bit of damage. I wonder, is there something cool to do at the top of this thing? Like, is it supposed to have like a skull or something on it? I mean, I didn't have that in the other drawing, but I'm definitely willing to consider that. Okay, let's see what we can do here. A silly little spooky skull guy up there on the top. Okay. And get a little more angle to that jaw piece there. I'm gonna get a little less volume on that. And it might be worth a flip just to make sure. Kill that space there. Okay. Yeah. All right. Maybe this spooky skull has a little pointy top on him. Look a little extra scary. Or maybe he's got maybe he's got horns. Is that is that cool? Yeah, that's kind of cool. So now it's like we have to think about the symmetry of that. So I kind of like to do a little geometric shape there to kind of envision what's going on. Make sure we got a good. Okay. Yep. Now I can erase the little helpers. And we'll give it another flip. Yep. All right. This level of detail maybe feels a little intense, a little crazy, but I kind of like that. I mean, if we're gonna be doing this, we might as well just try to do a little bit of detail on here, right? Okay, so now we're going to think about the blade. Well, I guess we could add some silly little like symbol-y guys here, right? I don't know what these symbols are. I'm sure somebody in some foreign language will tell me I've written something very inappropriate here, but hopefully not. Okay, so the blade. Oh boy, the thickness of that is now bothering me. This is the problem with having a almost an OCD sort of issue with art. And I have to really stop myself from going crazy with line weight because my instinct is to really clarify everything with line weight, but it's not going to matter in the end. It's not going to matter in the end. You just need to understand it enough to paint it. So the question here is with the blade being made of pieces, do we have the blade start connected physically and then segment? Or is it magically connected all right here at the start? I don't know the answer to that. Part of me thinks it might be good if it's like physically connected first. It might just sort of help sell or like prevent it from feeling a little bit too out there, too unbelievable, or yeah, too immersion breaking. Now these lines are getting very thick, which is I need to be a little careful about that. Okay, let's just I've got an idea. I've got an idea. I think I know how to approach this. Let's just draw the whole thing as if it's physical first. So I'm not trying to do two things at the same time because obviously my brain can't handle that. See, now I can just kind of focus on making the shape of this thing cool. My brain can handle cool shape making usually. What's going on here? Is this like I guess that's kind of cool. All right. I'm gonna try to like make a good line here. This is where like a Cintiq might be a slight advantage, which I don't care for typically. So I'll only use it in a last case scenario, last resort scenario. All right. So now we want to think about, is it too clever, the shape? Okay. I don't care for this situation here. And I don't like that either. Okay. Let's see. Let's just try over here. Okay, there's something maybe cool about. I have to remember too, we're going to have some segments in this. So I guess that's probably pretty thin there. Ooh, that's kind of fun. That little hook there on the back. All right. Okay, so then, yeah, let's just say, oh, and maybe we want, this would be behind him, right? So let's carry this through like this. I think I like the idea of it going all the way through. So I'm thinking we go physically connected on to the handle, and then we do some ghosty segmentation more as we get to the end. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. How do we break this up? I mean, there's probably going to be a couple attempts at me cutting this up. So, okay, let's actually, let's go like this. So I'm just kind of playing with it. I don't know if those are the right lines yet, but I'm sort of looking at segmentation here. That's one approach, is it gets smaller as it gets further away, which I think is nice because it gives it a sort of a solidity, right? Like it feels well connected to the handle. So that's definitely one of the benefits of this strategy. Also, it's going to put a little more glow toward the end of the blade. If we're thinking about the energy connecting the broken pieces together still, then it's going to be more glowy here, which would mean that we're not getting a lot of glow near the head and competing with it. So might also be a benefit. Okay, so I think I am liking this strategy. So with that in mind, do we just maybe go for maybe something like that? What if we do, I could do that. It's also the idea that it could be like broken a little unevenly, right? Like there's a kind of a separate piece. Oh, I think maybe the flow of that starts to get weird. Hmm. I don't mind that right there, though. That's kind of a cool little piece. Okay. I think I'm down for this. And I think what we want to do now is we want to actually create the separations. So we'll take this and we'll float it. Guess the whole thing's going to, well, I don't know that I want the blade to be super crazy long. So, you know what we might just do instead is I'm going to just kind of remove part of the blade instead of elongating it. So we'll just make another little line here for each of the sections. Now I'm being kind of even about this, but that I'm realizing is not the only way we could go here. We could have some bigger separations. Hmm. That's an interesting idea, isn't it? It sort of feels like okay, let's just keep going with this. I have an idea here where we could again playing with the idea that it feels sort of well connected to the handle and get something a little more crazy toward the end, not only in how many segments are there, but also that maybe it separates more at the end. So if we were to come in and we were to move this out like this, okay. Yeah, that's cool. I think I like that. Is there maybe some like wrappy things here on the grip area? That's kind of a classic move, right? We were like trying to bust a tooth woo here. We would like carve like an ancient, you know, inscription of like 800 figures all intertwining on the wood of the handle here. Okay, I guess I didn't want the wood grain there because we're doing this instead. Maybe the wrap gets kind of loose here. So we got some space here. It wraps around, comes around, and then maybe it kind of flows. Mm, it's a little daring to squeeze it so much there. I probably should be a little more sensitive to conveying volume. And yeah, so if you guys are doing like, well, I guess depending on the style, right? But yeah, if you're going for something immersive, it is worth thinking about when things might break the silhouette. It'll add that believability that upgrades your piece better than the person that didn't think about that, right? Just giving a little silhouette breaks to the wraps here. And I don't really need to go into this level of care with the wood grain, but yeah, I don't know. I just like the line art to feel nice, even just if it's I'm the only person that ever sees it. Well, I guess you guys will see it on the video, right? But yeah, in terms of the final product, though, line art's just for me. I might want to do something cool at the end here. Maybe we get a little metal piece at the bottom too. It could be kind of a cool way to give it some nice weight. Good period on the end of this weapon sentence. What's the perspective we want for this? I guess I should probably be thinking a little bit about that. Okay, and then maybe this has some cool symbols as well on it. And maybe it has a little bit of damage. Okay, I think that is a pretty good well, we do have this fun little like secondary block. Maybe that's a cool element to kind of have in both sections. Like a kind of a consistent approach to both. This is a little bit of like a it's looking a little jank, isn't it? Okay, let's try to dejankify it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think that's cool. Like helps it feel like it's got a sort of a rhythm going on. This piece is feeling a little bit orphaned here. This little nope. Well, oof. So who knows where I'm gonna probably wish that I hadn't tampered with that shape. Well, no, that's probably an upgrade. I like that better. We go in more with it. No. All right. I may play with that shape more in the future, but I think it's feeling pretty decent. I don't love this shape here. Let's do that. And maybe we make this piece a little bit pointier. Feels a little more dangerous. All right. Kind of wish this felt a little more ragged. Maybe we tear it a little more. Give it a little more weird strandy bits. Okay. Now what was going on back here? I don't know, but I do know that we're gonna do the hourglass stuff sort of after we get the main body figured out. So he's got like some weird little baubles here on his waist. Yeah, I don't know what these are, but they're like little metal coins. Anybody knows my other designs, you'll know that I tend to put things like that on designs, just kind of like a weird thing that I think is cool. Man, I hate when I can't quite read something. I wish I could go back and watch the video. Like, what is this scribble here? I feel like I was implying maybe it's just me putting a shadow in for the right side of his body, actually. That's probably what it is. So maybe we just need to take this and make sure that we get a good outer shape on his body there. Hopefully that's all that was. I think that's what it was. Here we're just going to put in some more cool little symbols, little cryptic runes of some kind. Mm, okay, here's what we're going to do because I'm going to create some thin strings. And I want to have them be fairly accurate. So we're going to do one layer and I'm going to dupe it. Oh no, I messed up. Okay, hold on. Hold on. It's going to be cool. Watch. Okay. New layer. Now we're going to do this. You guys already know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to duplicate this. It's not that exciting, but it does make my life simpler. So it's worth it. Now we can go on this layer and delete selective areas of the shirt. Yeah, look at that. I'm so good at Photoshop, you guys. All right, now we need little buttonholes for these to go into. So we shall do that. I don't imagine this guy is too particular about the symmetry of his shirt design. I feel like we're kind of lucky to be seeing him in a shirt at all. So we'll give him a pass on his sewing symmetry here. Now, isn't that nice? Okay. We've got to go with this other. Again, I'm going to do the hourglass later. I just want to get this second layer in here like that. If we were going to get real fancy, we could do like some actual, like, like thick layering. We like that. I mean, we did that on Gash, didn't we? We did a little bit of this kind of pipe fold stuff going on. Maybe we'll do a hint of it, a hint of pipe fold. You guys want to practice this kind of stuff, just do a lot of people with big long capes and cloaks and stuff. And then you'll just have to be like painfully aware of how those things work. What you don't want is all your cloth to feel like it's just a flat hieroglyphic, right? It should feel like it flows, it has volume. It has tension. I was about to do a reference to a very obscure film that no one would get, so I'll refrain. It's going to be for a movie called Body Bags. Very unknown John Carpenter movie. The horror anthology. Okay, is that what we want? Wait, hold on. That hourglass is throwing me off here. Okay, there we go. I was doing something weird. I was on autopilot with that. Sometimes it's funny, like if the underdrawing is too like accurate, then you go into autopilot, right? You're just kind of almost tracing. And then there's the opposite problem of the underdrawing not being informative enough. And then your brain hurts. 'Cause it has to figure out too much stuff. Like with the scythe, right? We have to kind of like break that down. So that hourglass is going to cover up some of that stuff. Not going to worry about it right now. There is going to be a textile on this, a little quilty pattern. And I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. What layer is this on? Oh, okay, we got this on 2 layers. Let's merge that. Maybe I'll just go for a nice rounded shape there. Is that no? No, I like it a little curved in. Change my mind. Okay. So now we got this hand here, which is like kind of underneath the gonna be kind of like almost kind of implied holding this hourglass, right? Or like using its powers to levitate the hourglass and manipulate it, which I think will be pretty cool looking. Let's get this sleeve in place first. Probably something like that. And then his wrist is coming in, doing its thing. Now I have to think about constructing this hand. So we got. I'm going to ignore my underdrawing a little bit here. I know generally where it wants to be, but I didn't really work out the mechanics of the hand too well. So let's see. So we're going to have our 4 fingers, I think, right kind of like that. Okay, let's go ahead and get this finger kind of coming up here like that. Yeah, we may end up scaling this hand up as well. And I may actually do another drawing on top of this if it's a little too sloppy. And that's, I think that's something really important to stress here is that, while this is intended to be our final line art, it doesn't mean that we can't take something like this that we're, oops, I was supposed to be on lasso there, that we're wanting to maybe just have a little bit cleaner, that we had to take a moment to rough in first to get a feel for it, right? Maybe that lives a little over here more. Okay, yeah, I think that works pretty good. Let's see. Let's pull that in. There's the thumb pad there. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, all right, well, we figured out the hand, but the hand is a little looser than everything else. So that's fine. We'll just knock it back. Turn off the rest of the underdrawing. And we will draw this nicely on top here. actually think that maybe it wants to be a little bit more sort of centered. That might be a little too much. Let's see. Let's curve that like that. I'm going to lower the opacity of this because I'm trying to see my new drawing easier. Maybe this actually just needs to get a little bigger, this thumb section here. Yeah, okay, cool. And then that's going to kind of come in like that. We won't really see that segment much. I guess I kind of did an extra segment there. I got a little excited about that finger, didn't I? It's because it's 1, 2, 3. There we go. Count your segments, everybody. Don't add stuff. Might be a cool shape, but it's got to make sense. And then I guess, yeah, this finger, I guess we just kind of, let's see, 2, 3, 4. Let's pull this in. Let's have it be here. We'll do something like that. Okay, yeah, that feels pretty good. I like that hand. Let's kill the underdrawing there. See how that looks. Yeah, okay. Merge that together. I'm kind of fretting over the line art here, and I don't really need to worry about it too much. We'll get that in later with the shading. Okay, do I like this size? Yeah, I think the size feels pretty good. Thinking maybe just slightly bigger. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I can't see if anybody's actually watching right now or not, but if there is anybody watching, I'm just curious if I could have a quick like uh impromptu survey. Do you guys watch the stream muted or do you watch it with the audio on? I'm just curious. And if it's muted, then obviously no one will answer. So that'll be that's an auto poll. Well, I'm not liking that thumb. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Let's go. Let's turn on our underdrawing. And I'm going to lower the opacity of that a bit. And I'm just gonna kind of assume that like there isn't an hourglass there. And get some of that built resolve there that we're gonna see just a little bit. I guess we might see. No, I think we're gonna not see it over here. But we do need to get this bottom part of the shirt figured out here, which is hanging down. I feel like this shape here could be a little more interesting. I don't want to. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's it's working pretty good for me, and this will ultimately have some kind of hanging string or rope or something here connecting to the hourglass. I'll just put a little placeholder, a little loop guy there. We could add that later. So yeah, we got these floating pumpkin guys going on, and I was thinking about this. Like, well, they grow from the top, and so we could do something where it like comes up around like this, and then it does that. I think that's one way we could go. Um, or we could have them hang upside down, or we could have them kind of like be hanging, or upside down, basically. I feel like if they're upside down, they're just not going to have the same impact because we won't see the faces as clearly. Like it's going to be weird, right? You're going to not be able to read it, right? So I think we just do the kind of it comes in from behind and kind of just coils up and connects. I mean, we're talking about magical floating pumpkins. I feel like there's definitely some room here for some leeway to have some fun with it. Okay, save your work, everybody. Make sure you save. Guess I didn't really put in a nose for this guy. We can give him a little fun nose shape. Make sure that goes all the way up behind. Yeah. I was just noticing I like some of these sharper angles on this stuff here, so want to lean into that. Just kind of zooming out occasionally as well to scope out how it's feeling. Now look at this guy. This guy's got kind of a extreme sort of angle going on. I like that. This is once again, this is where, the looseness of the underdrawing, the gestural quality allowed me to maybe find a shape and an expression and a character here that I would not normally have thought to do. That's also why reference is so good because, reference is going to be, helping you stay away from all of your typical choices. Like I draw a human face out of my head and inevitably there's just some similarities to it, right? Like I'll make all these micro choices that are all making it similar. I mean, there's definitely strategies to get around that, but without that as like a active goal, you're going to have things feel similar. And reference completely pushes you away from that, right? Sometimes uncomfortably so. All right, now I'm hatching this. These are going to be glowing on the inside, so the hatching's a little silly, but just kind of helps me read. That's a hole. I guess that's not a hole there. Well, we got to add some of these little corkscrew vines too. I really like those. Those always look really cool. And then this was like ghost energy. I'm just trying to see everything we had in the underdrawing. I don't want to miss stuff. Maybe there's an opportunity to put something on the waist here. I'm seeing all this stuff and I'm like, man, maybe we just put a little pouch. He's got his like emergency gummy bears in there if he gets hungry, right? Or whatever Halloween themed candy you would like it to have. Candy corn, I know that's one of the most divisive Halloween candies out there. I happen to love candy corn. Okay. I didn't put a face on this. What do we, let's see. What's going on? Oh, I feel like it wants to kind of go around here. Is it? This is like a crazy. This is a crazy one. Come around here like this. Okay. I mean, I worry that that might kind of make the silhouette of the primary stem hard to read, but well, maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. And is there maybe a couple of extra twisty roots here? Is that cool? Or is that just making it hard? It makes that silhouette really, really complicated on the top there. I don't know that I like it be that complicated. Although I am implying there's like another root just kind of hanging out over here. So I think that's cool. Here's another one here. We will make this a corkscrew vine. Oh, we got one pumpkin here. Look at this guy. It's kind of a fun shape. I didn't really do noses for a lot of these guys, did I? You know, I was kind of thinking about like those mini pumpkins you see at the grocery store around Halloween. They always have these like cute sort of flat proportions. They're kind of like big pumpkins. You see them in all kinds of shapes and sizes, right? But I feel like those mini pumpkins are always like these little squat guys, um, right? So that's kind of what I was thinking about with this. What what am I doing with his mouth here? It feels like he's got some kind of a he's almost biting his lip or something. I'll leave that just because it's a little bit silly, and I don't mind that. It's tough to insert a little bit of whimsy into something that's supposed to feel kind of spooky and have it work. It's a fun challenge, like feel like there's certainly movies that are good examples of doing this well. Like, well, I mean, depending on who you're asking, but according to me, I would say things like a lot of Sam Raimi movies are good examples of horror with whimsy or a little bit of a sort of a slapstick element. And in some ways, they complement each other, right? It's this whole idea of contrast that we talk about in many other ways when we're talking about art, but talking about tone, though, like scary and funny are awesome counterpoints, emotional counterpoints, right? So, um, certainly you can have a thing that is just purely scary and it's effective that way too. That you don't have to have it, but yeah, there could be something really, really cool about those counterpoints, or like, something that's like cute and also deadly, right? Like that's a really commonly used counterpoint. That is so absurd looking. I like it. Um, Another little twisty vine here. We're gonna have a hell of a time filling in all the flats for this, right? It's gonna be a little outrageous. What am I doing here? Okay, sure. All right, let's do the what was I doing? I guess this cape, I think I was doing sort of like a layer here that came up in front. Is that what I was doing? It's a little hard to read. It's like, how is this happening? How am I might have to reorient this a little bit here. How am I doing? Okay. Sketch is vague here. Okay, that's not bad. That's a terrible edge there. Let's clean that up. I think this is all just an attempt to get a little more layering in. I don't know exactly what piece this is implying it is, but it's cool. There's like extra like layering, although we need to make sure. So this is like where the waist is here, right? And if we continue this like here, we want to make sure that that feels like that connects. So let's pull that in just a little bit. Okay. And then just, some flowy robe like lines coming out like this. It's feeling. Hmm, Actually, I want to change this shape a little bit here. Let's do that. The squatness of that. I guess can we? I'm gonna do something crazy here. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna pull all this just a little bit longer. I know, crazy, right? Let's just redo some of this here. I think what we'll do is I was thinking like that the robe turns into the tendrils, but I think it might be creepier if like there's the robe and then the tendrils come out from underneath the robe, right? Like 'cause that feels more like it's his body like doing something crazy. So we'll do that. Um so I should think about some of this like robe shape here a little bit more physically accurate. What's our perspective on the scene? We're looking pretty far down at this stuff. So we're going to we can do something like that. Part of the underdrawing's bugging me because it's like It's a weird gap there. Let's just smudge that. Okay, there we go. It's distracting. Guess we had a little bit more leaf silhouette poking out here. Make sure we don't lose critical volume from the underdrawing. There's so many steps in a layered process where you can sort of ruin some of the little volumes you've created. Like when you're filling in flats, if your lines are thick, you got to think about, well, am I including the thickness of the line in my flat or am I not? And which part of the flat is the line thickness going to attribute to, right? Like those are, they sound so minor, but you're doing that hundreds of times throughout the piece. It has an impact ultimately. All right. So let's see. We're going to do a liquefy here. I can just play with this shape overall very easily. Not a huge fan of that interaction there. Let's see. It's like an odd tangent. Hmm. Some subtle refining of this shape down here. I just don't want it to be a pain later. I'm going to play with this eye. Again, I know we said we are going to keep playing with this eye. Well, I'm playing with this eye again. I want to make it smaller. Yeah. And then maybe we just make this smile a little bit bigger. Okay, yeah. Okay, roots. Roots, roots, roots. Let's just get some good shapes going on. I was thinking about having hands on the end of these, but I almost wonder if maybe that would be might be drawing your attention away too much. Here again, our underdrawing is not necessarily helping us much. All right, let's check. I'm going to turn off the underdrawing so we can see the read on this. Okay, maybe we want one kind of coming from behind here like this. And I think I want to shorten this one a little bit. All right, let's reevaluate this outer shape here. I think let's just go for a straight edge there. I think, right? If we go well, that's interesting, huh? Ooh, that's kind of a fun shape. Okay, let's I want to move this down a little bit. Let's put that down there. I like the perspective was feeling a little weird. Like this face here is a little flat. Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, look at our little leaf over here. I forgot we had this little extra guy. Okay. Definitely feeling this cape shape more now, which is awesome. I'm thinking maybe one more root back here. Okay. We're making great progress. Now we should get to the hourglasses, right? I think that's the last big step. We can go ahead and save our work. Save your work, everybody. What is this one? Oh, these are my notes for myself on things to tweak. So yeah, the way we're gonna do this is I'm gonna sort of envision these um, in in a box first. So we'll do something like this. And then once we have that, then we can take a circle and just warp it into place. Now I don't know what the design of these hourglasses is going to be, so that is a little bit of a challenge here. But I know that they're going to have some end caps on them. I know that there's going to be a middle. So we may just do a little bit of design exploration here first, loosely, before we know exactly what we're working with. So it looks a little off, but that's okay. Let's just figure out this design. So maybe there's like a band in the middle. And is there like some spiky bits? Maybe there's a little bit of extra detail on this here. And maybe there's some elements that kind of connect these sides. Okay, so this would be glass through here, right? So we would see spiky bit back there. Then we'll have some sand pouring through. I guess the maybe the inner area is smaller. I wonder if the I guess this should probably taper more, right? Like this should be a smaller shape in the middle. Yeah. And there's the sand. That's going to be kind of pouring directly down and forming some sand like that because it's tilted. Okay, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of basic. I don't know if there's anything too special about that yet, but maybe the devil's in the details of how we resolve some of these connections and whatnot. Thinking about if I like that. I see. Maybe I don't like these support bars because they kind of kill the silhouette. I kind of like the outer silhouette being very obvious. It's going to say very hourglass like, but it's an hourglass, so it's a little redundant. Well, let's see. I think what I might do here is I'm going to liquefy this because I feel like we're just getting the perspective's a little weird on it, but I don't think it's like weird enough to where we can't actually just liquefy it to fix it. Mainly just that there. Because so that could be a better underdrawing for us to work from there. Now, can we get away with duplicating that? I think we can. I know there's some others that have unique rotations. We're gonna have to probably do a unique drawing for a few of these, but I think we could probably at least make one more use of this version here. So maybe we try to do three versions, right? We have A, we're gonna have B, which is the one he's got levitating in his hand, and then maybe we do like C. So maybe this A is just a flip, and then B is unique, and then C is a flip here. So we'll do three unique versions. We'll do A, B, and C. B being the one in his hand. Um, so I think. Oh, actually, what did I draw? Let's turn off this main drawing here. The It's funny, the tilt of these feels pretty similar. I think that would just make for better images if the tilts are more different, right? I don't want to tilt it so much that you lose the hourglass shape, but if we're gonna bother with three different versions, then we might as well make one of them more obviously tilted. So um maybe B is the least tilted. So it's the most immediately recognizable. It'll be the biggest one as well. And then maybe C is the most tilted. Maybe we go for more of an extreme tilt. So C is going to be the extreme tilt. If I can There we go. Extreme tilt. This is going to be more straight. And then we already did A. Well, we didn't do it yet, but we have the angle established for A. So yeah, I think we do the final drawing on A so we know what we're working with for the hourglass design. Then we can do the same process for the other ones, again, duplicating selectively. And then for B, the hourglass for B might be a version of this, but like upgraded. So maybe it has like some fancier stuff on it. Maybe it has some gems or there's like skulls or I don't know. We could kind of make it feel like the hero hourglass, which I think is cool because that's the one he's kind of holding. Oh, there's also this one down here. I just forgot. We have this one down here as well. That one can probably be maybe A. Maybe so this is A3 down here. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's save that. And now let's lower the opacity down. I'm going to turn off the underdrawing because this is our underdrawing. I'm thinking because this is probably the inverse of this. I'm thinking, do I want to try and draw it first here or do I want to draw it first here? I don't know the answer. Let's just try stuff. I'll let that one stay there, although we'll do like a little counter rhythm to that maybe. Oh, we're going off the rails here. Hey, Tom. It's going good, man. A little bit of a brain bender there with that shape. I mean, again, like I could do this in 3D, but I don't want to make it I don't want to like I want the stream to be about drawing and painting, not about modeling, so well, hey, yeah, glad you could pop in. Yeah, did start streaming again a while back. So we wrapped up the Boogeyman and doing this new guy. What do we do there? I mean, okay, it's gonna be it'd be hard to get it perfect, but we'll try to get it close. I think that's pretty close to that shape. And then we made this pointed here. And we have it pointed here. And then we did a little guy here. What are we doing for the side shapes there? I guess we're curving them in a little bit. I guess I'd missed that. Let's curve them in a little bit. Okay, and then here's the inner shape. So now hopefully it becomes obvious to you guys why I was planning to reuse these at least once. Right? Because we get a little bit of time savings. And in terms of rendering, I imagine we might be able to do the same thing, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. Okay, and then we can kind of like put a few lines through this back section so it looks like it's behind the glass. Just like a visual note for ourselves, as I can put a little bit of a reflection line over it. Let's flip that, see how we did. Yeah, it's not too bad. Perspective held up pretty well. Let's just do a quick liquefy on it there. I'm gonna pull this out a little bit here. Yeah, it's not too bad. So then we said A was going to be Actually, we're gonna get 3 uses out of A, aren't we? I think A was gonna be for over here. Let's turn on our underdrawing. A is gonna be for this guy over here as well. Smaller. And hidden by the cloak. Oh, actually, well, I'll merge all this together. So, and then A also for down here on the waist. Where's the main lines? These are the main lines. Kill anything overlapping. Uh, Actually, I'm gonna kill this as well because how is this suspended? Right? I guess we can do like a multi-suspend thing. We'll do a ring here. All right. Let's see. We got those 3. I want to do a more extreme angle for C. So let's see here. do we'll do something like that maybe. Oops. So I'm thinking some kind of extreme angle like that would be cool. Now the question that we have here is, do we use the same design or do we tweak the design for these other ones? I mean, we're doing a different drawing, so we're already going through that hassle. Oh, I guess I should. Where's my line? Shape line. Shape line. This is the midpoint. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so that's going to be, is that really going to be that extreme? I feel like that's kind of weird. Okay, well. um, Here, let me flip this. Where's the, I'm going to turn off my bounding box so I can just see this. Okay, actually that looks fine. I think the bounding box was like throwing off my judgment a little bit there. Let's get this here. Well, I should have just duplicated that ellipse, right, to get the thickness of this. Oh well. That's okay. Well, I also don't need to have those be centered, right? I was just doing that on instinct, but that actually is going to look less organic, right? We should probably think about some offsets. So maybe there's one, I guess, right here and over here, and then kind of back here. Oh, these are sticking out this way. Whoopsie. I may only use one of those because it's such an extreme perspective that I feel like it's a little hard to read. Um, we got one back here. That one back there's kind of small, so maybe we reuse B for this one. Okay, so just slight change of plans. I think that'll work. Turn off finer drawing and scope this out. I don't know why this piece feels a little rotated out of whack. Let's rotate that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's get the main one in here. So what's the angle we want for this guy? Oh, hey, maybe hold on. Let me clean up my layers for a second because we got some junk. Got some junk here. This is glass, so I'm gonna leave that, but I'll just erase a little bit. Okay. That can merge in. Those are our notes. We can kill that because I know what I'm doing now. That can get merged. I think that one's safe to merge. Let's see. Yeah, we're good there. And then that one's good. Am I gonna make the tubes glow? Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll definitely have some glow. Like I like the idea of doing some glow on the weapon, on all the jack-o'-lanterns, and then I think all these hourglasses will have some glowing as well. Yeah, for sure. Um, what we might try is like a warmer glow for the jack-o'-lanterns and then maybe a cooler glow for the hourglasses and the weapon. So we get maybe like an orange and teal thing, maybe. I'm not totally sure on the colors yet, but I feel like that might be something we can play with. All right. let's get this guy, the main event going on. And so this is going to be a little bit and less of an extreme perspective. So actually, I can probably just do it over here. I kind of know what I'm going for. So let's do that and that. And get our foundation in. Okay, there's the bottom. Scale it ever so slightly. And we'll scale that as well. Oh, I guess those probably, yeah. I think, yeah, that's probably a good size for those. And then we can connect this up. And then, yeah, I think we'll probably just go centered for the little embellishments on this one. Kill our frame there. Okay, now this. Well, I could just actually just draw right on this, right? Let's do this. Here again, I forgot to add a little thickness. It's making my life difficult. It's okay. I'm not an automotive designer. I can't do perfect ellipses freehand, especially not on an Intuos tablet. I have to be on a screen device to even attempt it. But I don't do a screen-based device for ergonomic reasons. It just murders my back and my neck. Okay. It's got like kind of similar vibes to the one we had before. A little bit different. I wonder, is there something else? Maybe we do like another little pip in the middle here. That's kind of fun. I guess that would probably cause this to happen though, right? And get like a little separation there, maybe. Okay, let's see if we can cheese this here. Okay. Yep, we can do it. I just gotta scale it up a little bit. And we're good. How big was the? Okay, so it was tilted a little bit this way, and it was a little bit bigger. It was like that big. And now to be non-destructive about this, I'm going to erase what's behind it using a mask. And and that's also because we're going to see through it, which we'll have to think about how we want to manage that during the painting process. Transparency always kind of presents some additional challenges. Okay, but yeah, I think that's. And then I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and use this one for this guy way back here because he's small and he's also partially hidden. So we'll be good to go on that front. And yeah, I think that's the line drawing for Sam Hain, guys. I think we're in a pretty good spot to start the painting next week. Yeah, how are we doing on time? Yeah, yeah, we did pretty good. We're a little over. I think that's a good target to hit though for this stream. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hope you had fun watching the line art get wrapped up here for this villain redesign. I think it's got some fun details, right? We added a few interesting elements, and it's going to be some opportunities to play with some cool effects on this. Got the challenge of some transparent objects. We've got all kinds of different materials we're working with. We've got glass, we've got different kinds of cloth, maybe leather, metal. We've got the pumpkin flesh. We've got these leaves. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So it's going to be a lot to chew on as we get into the render portion, but I hope you'll join me. And if you guys are interested in my free drawing guide, all you have to do is sub to the channel and you can download it. The link is going to be in if you go to the, what is it called? I guess, social tab on YouTube, I think it's called, where all the posts are. There's a post in there and the link is in the post. All right. So that's where you can find that. Otherwise, have a great week, everybody. And I hope you see you next time. Take care.